Jussie Smollett. Two suspects taken into custody over the weekend were released after police say that new evidence shifted their investigation in a new direction.
Yeah, so there are also reports at this point that the men told police Smollett paid them to stage the attack on him, something that the actor continues to deny. And here to talk more about this bizarre case, because it truly is bizarre, attorney and legal analyst Sara Azari. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you. There's
you too.
so much going on here. Let's start by saying, first of all, a grand jury will consider the case this week.
Right.
Also, Chicago police have not called him a suspect. They're still calling him a victim. So those are two important things to put out there right away. But we want to talk about, how does he go about proving his case, saying that, no, he is telling the truth? Is it just his word against the evidence that's piling up against him?
All he can do is to continue to deny the fact that he staged it. And I have to say that all the evidence is pointing the other way, that this was orchestrated, that this was staged. And when this news broke, I don't think any of us, in our wildest imagination, think that somebody would make this up, would create this type of crime, and especially in the climate that we're living in now with all that goes on. This is a serious crime. He has essentially staged a felony assault, which is a felony if it gets prosecuted. The frustrating part is that generally prosecutors don't prosecute this type of crime, the lying to the police officer, falsifying a police report. In this case, they will, because he's a celebrity and because of just the heinous nature of the crime itself. So this is something that I feel strongly about. I think it needs to be prosecuted. There needs to be an example made because it's very serious.
Although there's some people that question this when it happened. So if he was prosecuted, what then happens to him? What kind of jail sentence could he be looking at?
Right, so he would be prosecuted for making a false report to the police, and there is jail time associated with that. It depends, state by state. So under Illinois law, he'd be facing some time. He's going to continue denying this. My hope out of this is that we don't enter into this state of national disbelief when true victims of violence come forward and report, because members of the LGBTQ community, trans community, and members of the African American community are constantly targets of hate crimes. And for this to undermine their credibility would be extremely tragic. So I hope that we continue to prosecute, investigate, educate in this regard.
That is really the shame in this, is that in a way it's doing a disservice to legit victims out there in the future.
Absolutely. It's always like that. When you have victims, people that allege sex crimes that didn't occur, and in this case, hate crimes. And this is so serious. It's a pattern that is on the rise in this country. It's a serious crime that we're dealing with. On a daily basis, members of minority groups are victims of violence. And this just could very well undermine their credibility and make it that much more difficult for them to come forward.
And so what happens to Jussie on Empire?
Good question.
Legally, what can they do in this situation?
Most of these employment contracts for television shows have a moral character clause, and committing a felony or even just lying about certain conduct, bad conduct alone, even if it's not a crime, could be grounds for being terminated. And so I would think that he's going to face the music on Empire. He's going to face the music with his representation as agent in Hollywood. I mean, there's consequences in Hollywood and there's consequences in court.
And we should say nothing's been proven either way.
Right.
That's correct, but I just have a strong feeling that he needs help. No, really, this is a serious thing. I think he needs, whether it's addiction or a mental issue, I would never think anybody would go this far to stage this type of crime.
That's what happens if it does turn out that he's lying. Once you start a lie, it is hard to go back.
Correct.
Almost like a scene from Empire. All right, Sara Azari.
I'm sure we'll have you back to talk more about this as time goes on.
Thanks, you guys.